I didn't scream because I couldn't move. One moment it was an ordinary night, doors locked, mind drifting, the kind of quiet you trust without thinking. Then something shifted. It wasn't a noise, not a shadow. Just a certainty settling deep in your chest that the space around you had changed. Have you ever felt your body understand danger before your thoughts even catch up? Your breathing slows, your muscles stiffen, and listening becomes everything. I stood there, motionless, realizing the house no longer felt empty. It felt occupied in a way I couldn't name, and a cold dread began to creep in. It had started as just another quiet night, the kind that feels almost unreal in its simplicity. I followed the same routine I always did, a ritual of safety. I walked through the house, locking each door carefully, listening for the satisfying click that meant the outside world was kept at bay. I flicked on the living room lamp, letting its soft glow push back the darkness, and the hum of the television filled the silence. The ticking of the old clock on the mantel became a comforting rhythm, each second a quiet reminder that nothing was out of place, that everything was under my control. It was a familiar, dependable beat in an otherwise silent house. I poured myself a cup of tea, the warmth of the mug a small comfort in my hands, and settled into the familiar cushions of the sofa. I told myself I was completely alone, that the house belonged to me entirely for these few precious hours. Have you ever felt that sense of absolute safety, where the world outside just ceases to exist and your mind finally relaxes into routine? Every creak of the floorboards, every quiet sigh of the house settling, was familiar, harmless, and predictable. These were the sounds of home, sounds I knew intimately. Shadows stretched lazily across the walls, long and distorted but completely benign. The quiet made me appreciate the solitude rather than fear it. I felt insulated, untouchable, as if the night itself had wrapped me in a protective blanket. It was a perfect illusion, a fragile comfort that made the world outside disappear, leaving me convinced that nothing could possibly disturb the stillness I had so carefully constructed around myself. The house seemed safe, and I truly believed I was alone. But then, the illusion began to crack. At first, it was subtle, almost imperceptible. I noticed a picture on the wall was slightly tilted, a frame that was always perfectly straight. The faint hum of the refrigerator seemed to shift in pitch for just a moment, a change so small I almost dismissed it. Then came the soft click of a floorboard upstairs, a board I could have sworn had been silent just moments before. My mind immediately tried to rationalize it. I told myself it was nothing, that houses settle, that my mind was just playing tricks on me in the late-hour quiet. Yet, the unease crept in like a cold draft under the door, a feeling that wouldn't be ignored. Have you ever tried to convince yourself that a warning your body is screaming at you isn't real, only to feel the tension coil tighter with every single heartbeat? My breathing slowed without me even telling it to. My muscles stiffened, and suddenly, every small noise became amplified. Each tick of the clock now sounded like a countdown. Each shadow seemed to hold a potential threat. A flicker of light from the hallway, probably just a car passing outside, made me freeze mid-step. I realized with a jolt how quickly the familiar can become utterly alien. Rational thought and raw instinct collided as I strained to listen, the anticipation of an unseen presence making time stretch and warp around me. The silence returned for a moment, almost cruelly, as if to mock my growing fear. It gave me a second to doubt myself, to think maybe I was overreacting. But then the next noise arrived, the distinct, unmistakable sound of a drawer sliding open upstairs. It was a soft, stealthy whisper of movement, confirming that my rationalizations had failed. My pulse raced, and every nerve in my body felt like it was poised for action, caught in a terrible limbo between disbelief and blinding fear. I understood then that the ordinary, safe night I trusted could vanish in a single heartbeat, replaced by a sharp, consuming awareness that something was in the house. Something I could not yet see, but could feel closing in. Then it happened. A shadow shifted at the edge of the hallway, a flicker of movement in my peripheral vision. For one brief, heart-stopping instant, I saw the silhouette of a figure where none should have been. My chest tightened, my muscles coiled. My body simply refused to obey my mind. Have you ever felt your own body betray you? The doorknob to the back door, the one I knew I had locked, began to rattle. It was a slow, deliberate sound, confirming what I had feared, I was not alone. And whatever was there was testing the boundaries I thought were so secure. That simple, metallic sound was the final confirmation that my sanctuary had been breached. I called out, my voice barely more than a whisper, a pathetic, "Who's there?" The sound seemed to awaken the stillness. As if acknowledging the presence was a mistake I couldn't undo. The rattling stopped. The authorities came, much later it felt. They found a window latch forced open, footprints in the garden, but nothing more. I never learned who had crossed that line, who had stood in my hallway, or why they were there. I only know that my perception of safety, of what it means to be alone, was irrevocably altered in that one night. The nights since that event carry a shadow of tension that refuses to lift. I often wonder if we ever truly reclaim solitude once it has been so violently invaded. The quiet feels different now. It's no longer peaceful, it's watchful. I still check the locks 3, 4, 5 times. I still can't sit with my back to a doorway. I still don't know how long he was there, in the quiet, just watching. And that not knowing has permanently changed what the word alone will ever mean to me. It rewired safety, silence, and trust deep inside my mind. Even now, telling this story, I feel a ghost of that same cold dread, a reminder that the thinnest of walls separates our ordinary world from the things we fear in the dark. If you've ever had an experience that changed how you see the world, I'd be interested to hear about it in the comments. Sometimes, sharing these stories is the only way to feel a little less alone with the memories. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.